Oh my gosh, truly, truly long time no see. There's been so much going on and I can't believe I posted my last video like 2 months ago. And here we are, so much has changed. We actually moved to the south of France, but so much happened before, after, during the move. It's been really, really crazy. But the main reason why I haven't been posting on YouTube and haven't been posting much on Instagram was because despite me smiling right now, I have been in a very dark place mentally. The things haven't been going well for me here, and to the point that I had to leave the country for a few weeks due to legal matters. It's been really, really crazy. I don't want to drag this video along for too long because in my next videos I want to start showing you how the life actually has been since everything has been resolved, kind of. So I just wanted to explain very quickly, shortly, why I have been away, what's been happening, and where we are now. Actually, right now, we are in the home that we are renting. It's literally 10 minutes drive from Antibes, but there's been a lot of premise to what's been happening, how we've been settling in, and it's the whole story. So let's start that approximately in the middle of May, or closer towards the end of May, we started looking into what rights I have to live in France, because I am not French. I am British. I was born in Ukraine, but I have acquired a British citizenship in 2015. So it's been 6 years since I've been British. And you know, we're all in the European Union, very easily to move around and settle in different countries. Nobody needs anything. When we made our decision to move to France, it was back in August last year, August, September. We put our house on the market in September in Canada, and we couldn't sell it until the following March. And in the meantime, Brexit happened. From the 1st of January, all British nationals have about the same rights as Canadians to move to France, or in my case, like Ukrainians. So basically, you have 90 days here, and then you need a visa. And for some reason, Ollie and I thought, you know, we'll just come and apply for a visa here. I'm married to a French man. I have 2 French children. It shouldn't be a problem. We'll just explain our situation here at some prefecture and they will understand and give me some long-term visa. Well, that's not the case. As of January 1st, if you're British, Canadian, like anything but somebody from the European Union, you need a visa. You need to apply for that visa from outside the country. When we found out, we thought, this can't be true, not in our case. So we actually started looking into some legal ways to get me to stay here. Even contacted an immigration lawyer who has advised that yes, in fact, I need to leave the country to be able to apply for this visa. There is no way I can stay here and apply for something from here. We have been advised that I need to leave the country to apply ideally from Canada, because that's where my legal residence still is. That's where I've lived for over 6 months in the span of the last 12 months. Or we can contact the French embassy in the UK, which we had, and they said because I am British, they would see me. So that was another option. My ideal option in my head was to apply for the French visa from Ukraine, because I was born there, I have a family there. Due to COVID, Ukraine luckily didn't have any restrictions, and looking at Canada and the UK at the time, vaccinated, non-vaccinated, you had to self-isolate, ideally in a hotel for the first 10 days after you arrive. Do like a million of PCR tests, which are not free like they used to be in France. Every PCR test in the UK was like £50. So I'd have to get myself to the UK, not cheap, self-isolate for 10 days at an Airbnb or in a hotel, because I can't stay with any friends. I need to physically self-isolate. At a hotel, I'd have to feed myself somehow with some takeaways. At an Airbnb, also, how do I get food delivered so I can cook for myself. Very complicated. Pretty much the same situation in Canada, it's just that the flights would be like 3 times more expensive than to go to London from France anywhere. So the options were extremely complicated, inconvenient, very, very expensive. So we kind of had our eyes set on me applying from Ukraine. I have my mom there. I could stay there. Should it be longer than it usually takes to get the visa, I have somewhere to stay. I have somewhere to stay for free. There is no self-isolation. All the PCR tests, if I need to have anything done, are quite cheap compared to anything in the UK or Canada. So Ollie got in touch with the French embassy in Ukraine, in Kiev, and explained our situation, and they said, unfortunately, we can only see Ukrainian residents. When I applied for the British citizenship and got my British citizenship, I lost my Ukrainian citizenship, or so I thought. I have not renewed my Ukrainian passport in a while. I think it expired in 2018, so I haven't looked into it really. I thought being British will open a lot of doors for me. If you are from a third world country, you would understand what I mean. But actually, on my occasion, it would have been more beneficial to be Ukrainian than British due to all this Brexit situation, and nobody knew what was happening, what the rules were. So when we got our refusal from the embassy in Ukraine, we were kind of really, really sad and down. I really didn't want to go to the UK because I would feel very lonely, would feel very bad having to spend all that money on PCR tests and self-isolation. The visa, in fact, would be for free for me. So we really weren't into this idea of me going to the UK, but that seemed like I didn't have any other choice. And then that whole time we were staying at Ollie's mom's house, I was extremely down. I could not bring myself to like smile or even have a good time, let alone make videos here, because I didn't want to bring any more negativity into the internet. So I thought I can't bear sitting in front of the camera and complain the whole time. So I thought I'm just gonna take a break for my mental health and everything. It would be the best idea. And then mid-June we were due to move into this house, which we did. And at that time, I had about a month left on my 90-day stay in France. So we made a decision, instead of rushing into me going to the UK, I would help with the move. I would get to know the house. I would help with the kids. Ollie's working all the time. So we made a decision to have me for the move. And then once we move, to figure out what needs to be done. As soon as we moved, I had an idea of getting in touch with the French embassy in Kiev again, because I found some information on their official website that in certain circumstances, even if you're not applying from the place of your residence, which would be Ukraine, they could still see you and potentially review your documents, maybe even issue a visa. So we did a screenshot, reached out to them again, explaining that the COVID cases were on the rise. It wouldn't be very safe for me to go to the UK, having to go through all of that, and then potentially bring COVID back to France. Whereas in Ukraine, the cases are quite low. There's no self-isolation, no PCR testing or anything needed at the moment. And in a couple of days, we got an email from the French embassy in Ukraine saying if she would like to have an appointment for her visa, her appointment is booked for her for 8:50 in the morning on July 5th. And that was like at the very end of June. We were like, oh my God, I have to go. So we booked a flight for me to go to Ukraine. And then from then on, I arranged everything else with my family. My brother met me in Kiev the weekend before my appointment. The appointment was on a Monday, and I flew in on Friday. He met me in Kiev, and we spent an amazing weekend in Kiev. I haven't been there in so long, and it was really great to take my mind off all the documents and all the things that have been happening at home in the meantime in France. And Ollie took the kids back to his mom's house in the north of France to get some help because he still needed to work. He couldn't work and look after the kids at the same time because it would have been impossible. Our children are 6 and 4, they are full of energy, it's impossible to keep them still and quiet even for 15 minutes. So yeah, he absolutely needed some help. So he went away again, like myself, on a one-way flight. We didn't know when I would be back and how long he would need to stay in Normandy. So on July 5th, I went to the embassy, I brought all of the documents needed for my visa, and the thing that nobody could predict happened actually. I gave all my documents and the lady was reviewing everything and everything seemed fine. She started putting my information into her system and she looks at my passport and it says European Union at the top of the actual passport, not even on any paper, because every passport of every country that is in European Union had European Union written at the very top. And there's nothing I can do about it. My passport has been issued before Brexit happened. After that, the UK has not been sending brand new passports without that European Union thing on it. So she's like, my system just would not accept that because it's asking me, does it say European Union on the passport? And it does. And I don't know what to do with this. And I understand that you are British and the UK left the European Union, but my system needs to know whether it says European Union on the passport. So I don't know how to proceed. She went and saw her superiors, her chiefs and everything. They didn't know how to proceed either because I was obviously the first British person applying from the French embassy in Ukraine for a visa. And they didn't even have to deal with me. So they were like, we don't know how to proceed. So she took my papers and said, I don't know if we can actually accept your application because of the situation. So please go out, go have a coffee. We will be calling like the ambassador to know how to proceed with this because obviously we want to help a wife of a French national and you're already here. But we just don't know if we can physically take those papers from you because our system would not accept it. So I come out and in the meantime my brother was like cheering for me saying like, who else would get a visa? You've been married for so long, you have children, and now you've decided to actually settle in France. And I come out and I'm like, I don't know if they will take my papers. So I just start crying. I called my mom, I cried. I called Ollie and I cried. And then we went to like a little cafe. My brother was like, you need to put something in you, like food or drink. So we're having a coffee and I get a phone call from the embassy saying everything is fine, we're accepting your documents, the visa is free, and it usually takes about 10 days for us to process everything. But the way she said it, it kind of sounded like it was already a done deal. So she said, it's just literally 10 days for the processing of the visa, like literally stamping it in your passport and everything. So I was kind of confident that it wasn't going to be a problem from then on. And then we took a train to my hometown of Kharkiv. Again, I haven't been there in like 5 years. I think Tessa was about a year and a half when we went and she's 6.5 now. And I stayed with my mom, which was absolutely wonderful. And yes, it did take 10 days. I can't remember if it was 10 working days. No, I think it was 10 days in total for them to process my visa. Then they emailed me saying it's ready. They didn't say whether the visa was in my passport. They just said the passport is ready, like they always do. So the following day, my mom and I jumped on the bus because there was absolutely no other transport that was going from Kharkiv to Kiev. And we spent 17 hours on the bus that day. It was about 32 degrees Celsius that day in Kharkiv and in Kiev, in Ukraine in general. It was extremely hot. And we went to Kiev, got my passport, I got my visa for a year, and we started getting me ready for my return. So we went and picked it up on a Friday, and the following Saturday was my birthday. And I really actually wanted to stay with my mom and my brother for my birthday. So Ollie was like, that's fine, just go home, get yourself regrouped and rearranged, pack, take your time, spend your birthday with your mum and come back. Ollie and the girls flew back to this house on Friday. My birthday was on Saturday, and I left Kharkiv late on Saturday as well. And in the morning on Sunday, I took 2 flights to come from Kiev to Nice. I flew via Amsterdam. Again, the flights were extremely stressful with COVID travel right now. I don't want to travel for like a year or until this whole thing is sorted, because I'm not vaccinated. I wasn't able to get vaccinated in France at all because I don't have carte vitale or any paper that they might need for the vaccinations. We haven't figured out if there is any way for like immigrants with no papers to get a vaccine, so I'm kind of sitting there not vaccinated. Honestly, I didn't really care about getting vaccinated unless it would prevent me to do like day-to-day stuff. And right now in France, it would prevent me from doing day-to-day stuff, because from August 1st, which I don't know where I'm posting this, but it is happening, you can't even go to like shopping centers and some other things like restaurants and cafes. So restaurants and cafes are okay. If you have kids, you know that it's like whatever, you can't really go anywhere with kids. And shopping centers, yes, it would affect me a lot, but I don't know how I can get vaccinated. We just literally applied for something, and we're gonna have to wait until I get some confirmation that at least my carte vitale is being processed. Whatever, at this point, as long as I have my visa. So I've been here under a week, and we're settling in nicely. I don't know if you can see something. It's just kind of half the room that looks semi-decent. If you see what's behind the camera right now, it's a huge mess because we haven't had a chance to go and shop for a lot of the furniture yet. We just got the essentials like the tables and a couch and our beds. We don't have any like chest of drawers or anything to store anything, so like we have boxes standing around and all that stuff. In our room, all of the clothes is just like lying around in big piles. It's not that great, but I'm looking forward to having everything done and doing a house tour. At first, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a house tour because I felt like in Canada, all the house tours I was doing, a lot of people had a lot of opinions that I, for some reason, cared about how we set up our home. But right now I don't really care, so I'm looking forward to doing a house tour here and showing you everything. We even got a little kind of standing up pool for the kids just outside. That's been really great for them. And we've been doing a bit of traveling, not too much because again, Ollie's been working. We've been renting a car for a while when we came here for like 2 weeks until we bought a car, which I'm terrified of driving, but I started literally yesterday. Yesterday I took the kids on my own to a bakery and a little park. But yeah, I'm gonna start going out a bit more. Not sure what to do with the work situation yet for myself. It's really not easy because it's summer now and all the summer camps have been booked for kids here a while ago. And obviously we moved like end of June when we started looking into getting kids into some sort of routine, so that's all been booked up. But we have signed them up for school, so their school starts on September 2nd. We've got them all sorted and even signed them up for, I think, tennis on Saturdays from September. So that's going to be really fun for them, but for now it's just kind of me trying to entertain them and they're running around. But yeah, I tried to make this video nice and short. We'll see how it turns out when I actually edit it. If you have any questions, well wishes for me for recovery after this craziness that's been happening. I welcome them in the comments. It's good to be back. I'm really hoping to be back a bit more, but I can't promise anything because it's been absolutely wild and crazy. Thank you for joining me for this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a big like. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here to follow us on our new French adventure. And I'll see you all again next time.